Sean here, back with
Coach Matt.
look at that, there he is. And today, for our client spotlight, we have the fantastic Roya. Roya, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I love when we get people who we trained with like maybe not even an hour ago. So
Yeah.
the change of the cosmetic stuff is great. Got home, new shirt, necklace on, all that good stuff.
You got to work with the post-workout glow up.
That's right. There you go. Well, yeah, we'll come back to our client spotlight, and this month we're really excited to highlight you. For those of you who don't know Roya, or for those of you who do, she has been a stellar student and friend since the beginning, and even before we started Compass. So I was looking at it yesterday actually, which is funny. I think we've been training adjacent or together for almost 3-4 years now.
I think either August 26th or 29th, I'm not sure, is literally like the 3-year anniversary of me joining the previous gym.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so just grateful to have all that time together and see you improve. And I think one of the things that's been so neat is just seeing how much you've grown in the new space, just in terms of strength, certainly, but I think also just exposure to new things that are, I won't put words in your mouth, but maybe seem a little bit harder when you first started. And I think you've just been consistently showing up, getting better, and just adhering to the process 3 days a week, and making it all work, which I think was the big thing that I wanted to touch on today, because I know that a lot of people who are looking down the barrel of starting this thing, as you said, like when you started in August, it's how do I balance this? How do I make it work? How do I create a space? And you've said this before, which I love, that is kind of uniquely mine. And I think that's where I kind of wanted to start, looking back all those years ago to August, of that month that you decided to kind of take ownership of this certain sector and part of your health, and then really commit to it in a cool, not just hobby, but like lifestyle sort of fashion. What prompted that initial dive into the deep end, I guess I'll say?
So back then, like 3 years ago in August, that's what you're asking, right? Yeah. Okay. So back then to go even further back, like it was like I had Luca. So there was like a year where it was the newborn period, and there's all that like postpartum. And then as he was around 2 years old, it was COVID lockdown. So I just felt like I had this huge extended time of just having to be at home for like 2-3 years.
Right.
And it was like really too much and crazy. And like, when you're running around with a little toddler, you think you're really working out and you're exhausted, but you're really not. Like you look at your phone and it's like, 1,000 steps. Like, what the hell? Like I've been walking around all day after this little kid. So my body just felt really like sluggish and gross. And I just was like, I have to do something, and then just given my age, like just things with my body, like, so all of those 3 things combined, like I just felt like really bad. And actually like my back just really hurt. It was hard to get up, not hard to get up, but like it just felt wrong. So I was like, I have to do something. And, I've heard like, women need to start doing strength training, like you need to do it. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go do it. So that's kind of how I started.
Yeah. I think something that you said to me in the past that I just love so much was the idea of having a kid and having that responsibility, at a different point in life than maybe some people do. And the really neat correlation, and kind of, we talk a lot about like the bigger why behind the what of like, I want to feel better, but it's also like, what is that in pursuit of? And I know something that you've said a lot, and I'd love to hear you talk on more, not just my mouth gabbing and flapping, but is the idea of being able to stay at pace and set an example. And there's been so many cool things that you've sent me of like, Luca wanting to dress up as like Mr. Kettlebell Man for all, and like getting on the monkey bars and being able to just be a part of that in a more meaningful fashion than just trying to catch up to the energy, I guess is the way I'd summarize it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely so I could feel better in my body, but then also like, I do have a young boy, so you have to be able to keep up. And, I had him older, so I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the old mom. I want to be able to be around him and do the things he's doing. And, you know, like you said, be an example. So yeah.
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 I think it's awesome. You've met my mom a couple of times. And
Yeah.
we found it a little later.
Shout out to Val.
I always think like, you know, I was certainly a handful growing up, but like just that idea of being able to be more present. And I think one of the things that we love so much about strength and some of the other stuff you've done in terms of energy systems with like kettlebells is just doing the hard things, making time for the hard things so that the harder things, arguably in life of like raising a kid, becomes more manageable and you can just be present for that. And
yeah,
I think the example one is huge. I mean, that is something that I think about all the time of like, how does just you setting the model of taking care of yourself and taking the time for yourself just echo into the eternity of the already incredible life that Luca gets to lead by having a really present, strong role model of a mom. And also the other thing, it's easier to correct behavior when you throw them overhead in a snatch.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think it's that those are the big things that I just think are so cool for people to hear and just to ruminate on. And I know, Matt, you probably have some questions too. So not enough talking, I'll throw it to you.
Sure. Yeah, I think, you know, I've gotten the opportunity to work with you for the last year or so. And so
yeah,
I'd be curious to hear like what you wish you could have told yourself when you first started in that August 3 years ago, like what you wish you could have, the information you could have instilled then. And then the last year, what you could have instilled in yourself a year ago, the update to your training systems that you've now engaged in.
Yeah.
I think 3 years ago, and I think I've kind of done a good job of doing this, is just like kind of stay with it. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, even if it's hard. Like, if you suck one day, it's okay. Like, kind of what you guys say all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And then now, yeah, it's similar. It's like I knew going into it that, you know, kettlebell, like just when we do like heavy kettlebell and then also like the fast cardio pace, like I'm just not like a runner or that type of person. Like I don't like that stuff, you know, and not to say that I don't need it sometimes though, which is, I guess, what I try to remind myself of, like, this is a part of your health too. And like, you need to be doing this aspect of it sometimes as well, as much as I don't like it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really well said, is that like, it's okay to suck, like more often than not, myself included and Sean included. I think I'll speak for him in this case. Like, I think more often than not, they're crappy to okay days than they are great.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that like people often have a expectation around when it comes to training in general is that like it's this special skill of some kind that like I should get in really quickly. And it's like, with anything that you've done in life, it takes a lot of time to get competent at it.
Yeah.
And if, you know, you're on a multi-year hiatus or whatever, like that might be an even longer runway. And I think a testament to what you have been such an exemplar of is just the showing up no matter what. Just like, hey, even if it's going to be a tough day, I'm gonna show up, and then communicate with your coaches of being like, hey, not a great day today. I need to make adjustments, and being, you know, really mature in your ability to do that, which I think is something that takes some time for folks to figure out, of like, I have to do exactly what coach is saying. It's like, well, no, just showing up is all you had to do and be safe. That's it.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of learning that now too. I think I've gotten a little better at it. And because I'm like, oh my God, they're going to think like I just like didn't sleep, like didn't take care of myself at all. And I don't care. And this and that. And it's like, that's not what it is, you know? So I've been trying to communicate that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's been like the coolest thing over the total span we've worked together. And then even the last kind of sectional idea of the last year is just that continued maturation of like showing up for myself in any capacity is the best thing. And just seeing you embrace that and embrace the idea that, again, I think to Matt's point, people so often they just kind of cycle on this scale of like excitement and then getting out of it. And we always talk about the the middle path. And
Mm,
I think that really comes from an understanding that like this is for the rest of my life in some degree.
yeah.
I can't expect my life to maintain the pace and structure and ability of what I'm asking it to do forever. So like having different ways to modulate what your body does within that stressor, I think is such I think it's the greatest tool that you can have in lifting.
Mhm.
And it's how you get to be the cool, 90-year-old on Instagram deadlift. Like
Right.
that comes from is maturity, respect,
Yeah.
and then just openness with the idea that, hey, this is a journey, not a destination-based product. And I think that,
Yeah.
again, from Matt's point, like that's something that you have just been one of the greatest examples of in the past year, and you continue to be. And I not to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure it's not easy. Like it's hard. Like
Yeah.
I have bad days, and I'm sure Matt does too. And just understanding that there are 3 days in a week that I can do this. There's more if there's other things that I start to add as accessories, like walking or being with my kid or going on the monkey bars. And all of that starts to paint this really gorgeous picture that I think sometimes if you're just focused on one brush stroke, you kind of lose. And I know too, the other thing I wanted to talk about today, because I think you've had a really interesting relationship with it, was getting into newer, harder stuff that, to Matt's point, sometimes the expectation, and I've had this certainly of like, you get to the peak of a certain sector of lifting or physical activity, and you are the maybe, 98th, 99th percentile of the people that you're working with or being around. And then you enter a new space and there's a new set of challenges. And I think that for me in the past, might not be your experience, but that can be demoralizing at times. And I know that there was a little bit of adjustment just in terms of, hey, I'm going from, this certain section of working out that I've gotten really skilled and accustomed at to new skills that are hard and sometimes feel, hard to digest. And I think that's a really cool thing if you want to talk about it, just because we have people sometimes who are like, I'm really used to like, an Orange Theory model or something like that. Where I'm really good at the thing. And at that point, the maturity of understanding the thing that I'm not good at is usually the thing that I need more of or just a certain percentage of.
Yeah.
So how's that mindset kind of changed for you?
Yeah, that's interesting. It is tough at times. But like, I don't let myself stay in it, I guess, if that makes sense. I'll have the thought of like, oh, why can't I do this? Or that person's doing it better, but I don't let it stay for long, if that makes sense. And I try to just focus on like, well, what can I do to get better at it,
That's great. I think great quote is like, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today.
Yeah.
Because just like you might have been doing powerlifting and deadlifting for the last 2 years, and then someone else has been doing kettlebells, and like, of course they're going to be better at you than that.
Right.
You're going to be better than them and other things. And I just think also like that's such a healthy mindset of like, at least in the setting that you're in, it is not a competitive environment relative to other people. Maybe against your coach, which is fair, but against the other people, that is really not the environment. I think also that's a learning curve for a lot of folks of like a lot of people, the last time they did anything seriously athletic was high school, maybe college sports. And that is a very competitive environment. And so just like the goal of pushing each other to help each other get better, but not necessarily trying to step on other people to your worth, I think is really healthy.
Yeah. I think the last thing I wanted you to talk on, because I think you do it really well, is I think a lot of times people come in and they kind of fall again on these two sides of the spectrum, which is like not taking it seriously and just having too much flippant fun, and then taking it way too seriously and turning it into something where if it's a bad day, I go home and think about it for 9 hours afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that in the last year, like you've been able to really ride a balance of, to your point exactly, like coming in, dedicating yourself to the technique, even when there is fatigue or, other life things that detract from the ability to lock into that, and then letting it go. And I think the simple way to say this is you've always been someone that I really liked working with because you have fun and you, I think, put correctly a good emphasis on fun in training.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle to find because they're on each side of that pole. Either this is a miserable thing that I'm going to treat as a miserable thing, and then it's going to continue to be a miserable thing.
Yeah.
Or this is something that determines my self-worth. And so I think that's the last thing that I just wanted you to talk about a little bit, is like, what has been your process of making lifting and physical activity fun? And you can definitely do a tool plug here if you want.
Well, the music does really
help. There it is.
It does. Because I'm so like tuned into music that like I can hear it, even when you guys think like, oh, it's really low, nobody can hear it. Like it's always, I can hear what's going on, and it does help me, especially with kettlebells, like to have fast music when we're doing the volume, right? Yep. But other than that, I mean, I think you guys make a fun, open environment. And, you know, just the people that you're with, you know, Steven, Nate, Jess, you know, I think we have a fun crew at our 9 a.m. And so just, you know, and I think we've gotten to the point where we all know each other enough now. So it's more fun, you know, like we can be more fun together. And I guess like you were saying today, like we could all just shit talk the whole time. And like, you know, that part of it is fun. It does make it fun, you know? Yeah. So I think, you know, focusing on being with your people who are there, as opposed to like, oh man, I messed that up, or like whatever, you know? Yeah. If that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons that Matt and I love, I think that's why most people enjoy those like smaller group sessions more than like one-on-ones, certainly, or the, hey, there's 50 people in a room.
Oh,
it's that point of connection, you know? And I think finding people in the community that can connect with each other and have that same sort of levity, I think is invaluable in any gym space, any third space, really. Yeah. And I think that you've just always been a fantastic contributor and protector of that kind of fun.
Thank you.
So I think Matt and I always say, like, everything we do without you guys is in a vacuum, and it really doesn't matter. So, you know, I think the living, breathing organism of what Compass is really a direct result of what you all bring to it. The shit talk, the focus, the attention, the bad days, the good days, the celebrations. And I think I'm just always, and I know Matt is too, so grateful to just be a part of that journey, you know? Yeah. So, well, we'll leave it to you for the last one. Any final thoughts? Any final questions? Anything you want to close this spotlight with?
Oh man, I don't know. I think, I mean, it's been fun to like challenge myself in that way. Even though like every Friday I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. Like I do not want to go. And then, you know, like the warm up helps. Like we warm up, I'm like, all right, okay, I think I can do it. We can do it. And then, you know, sometimes it is miserable, but I guess, you know, it's fun to be miserable with all the other people.
That's it.
You know, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You know, it's
again,
from the founder, the Straganthica member to 1 year later, which is really crazy for us to start to think about. We're almost a year into this journey.
I know, crazy. Went by fast.
I know it did. It went super fast. So, you know, we're just both so grateful for everything you've been to Compass. And as things continue to grow and change, we're very grateful for what you will continue to be. So thank you.
Thank you guys. It's awesome.
Have a good weekend. Rock out to some Tool in the park, you know?
Always.